students. In the body fluids and circulation, we will discuss about to the lymphatic system. Into the lymphatic system, basically there is a fluid is present, which is also the type of the connective tissue. Connective tissue. It is also the part of the body fluid. So, it is discussed under this chapter. In the lymphatic system, we have to study about to the structure of the lymph. Lymph is nothing but it is the tissue fluid. It is tissue fluids, or it is also called as interstitial fluid. Tissue fluid, or which is also called as the interstitial fluid. Means it is the fluid. If this is the type of the cell, if this is the type of tissue is present, in which there are the similar cells are present, which is having the similar in origin. Means if this is the epithelial tissue, then in the tissue, the fluid which is present outside the cell into the spaces present into the cell in a particular tissue. That fluid, if this is the fluid is present, I denote here in between the cell. If this is the fluid is present, and this fluid which basically get drained into the particular system, or for the drainage of this fluid, interstitial fluid, or which is called as the tissue fluid, there is the presence of the lymphatic system in our body, which basically consists of the lymph. Then also it is consists of the lymphatic capillaries, in which there is the presence of lymphatic capillaries. Then there is the presence of lymphatic vessels, and most important one in this system, there is the presence of the lymph nodes, which get scattered in different regions of our body. So, in the formation of this lymph, as it is the interstitial fluid or it is the tissue fluid is present, which basically consists of plasma, which is present into the blood, which we already discussed into the blood part. So plasma is present, but in which there is the presence of lymphocytes, which is the type of the WBC, which play the important role in defense mechanism. So plasma plus lymphocytes, which is called as the lymph, which is a colorless fluid is present. Or if the comparison of the lymph is done with a blood, then lymph means whenever there are these certain cells such as the RBC, platelets and some plasma proteins. Get subtracted or get minus, then this fluid is equal to lymph. Means lymph is a fluid colorless in structure, and which basically consists of the structure similar to the plasma except certain proteins and plus presence of the certain lymphocytes. if it is compared with a RBC, sorry, if it is compared with a blood, then blood minus RBC, platelets and some plasma protein, it is equal to the lymph. So it is the most important part. It also consists of CO2. Along with this structure, it also consists of the carbon dioxide and it is related to the metabolic waste also. It consists of metabolic waste also. So this structure, these all the constituents are present into the lymph. So here there is the drainage of this tissue fluid or the interstitial fluid takes place from our body in the form of the lymph through the lymphatic system. This is why this fluid is also get preserved inside the body. Or finally we know that the lymph is ultimately drains into the blood circulation because it consists of the important parts, important constituents. As we know that here lymphocytes are present into lymph. Certain fluids are present in which there is the water or the inorganic solids are also present into the part of the lymph. Means these are essential to our body part and that's why get maintained inside our body. Only certain exceptions that get expelled throughout the body in different systems. So into this lymphatic system, the lymph is formed. Tissue fluid get drained here. Tissue fluid get drained. So formation of the capillary gate takes place. Formation of capillary gate takes place. This is the lymphatic capillary is present, which is basically blind at one end. It has in close contact with the tissue fluid. That's why it is the blind at one end. And it is the wider than the blood capillary. Its lumen is comparatively wide than blood capillary. And its location or it is also along with the blood capillary get extended in our body. But these lymphatic capillaries are not having connection with the blood capillaries. This is the most important part and lymphatic capillary is also lined by the endothelium. So capillaries, multiple capillaries get unite and finally it forms the vessels. So there are the lymphatic vessels are present in our body. In the lymphatic vessel or during the formation of this lymphatic vessel, I here draw in the picturized form. If this is the tissue is present, if this is the particular tissue is present and if here this interstitial fluid is present and which finally get drained into this capillary. This is the lymphatic capillary is present. Then multiple, here there is the one lymphatic capillary, another lymphatic capillary, thus many lymphatic capillaries which finally get unite to form the vessel. So there is the second part is important to the vessels. Into the vessels, there are the main two vessels or main two ducts get formed from the vessels also. And that ducts are called as the right lymphatic duct and left lymphatic duct. So from the vessel now there is the formation of the two ducts takes place, right and left lymphatic duct. The left lymphatic duct is the most important and it is also called as the thoracic duct. left lymphatic duct. It is also called as the thoracic duct. So, the left lymphatic duct drains the lymph in the left side of our body, means left part of the head, then shoulder, and then the part of the chest also. And from the lower part of the ribs, the lower portion of the body, from which all the lymph get drained by the left lymphatic duct. That's why the left lymphatic duct, which is called as the thoracic duct, it is the major duct is present, which drains the lymph from the left side of our body also, and lower to the thoracic part or the thoracic ribs, the whole lower extremities drain the lymph into the left lymphatic duct, that is the thoracic duct. Right lymphatic duct drains the lymph from the right part of the head, neck, shoulder and the chest region only. Finally, this right and the left lymphatic ducts, finally these ducts drains into or ultimately get opens into the blood circulation. Finally, it gets open into the blood circulation. Means as it contains the CO2 or the metabolic waste, it opens into the venous blood. As we know that the blood which is present in the vein, except pulmonary vein, is a deoxygenated blood which contains CO2 or in which metabolic waste is also present. So here I just show you the parts or the formation of the different parts present into the lymphatic system. Here from the tissue fluid or from the interstitial fluid, there is the collection of this fluid get takes place, which is called as the lymph, which is basically compared with plasma, in which certain proteins, plasma proteins are absent, but there is the presence of the lymphocyte. Or if compared with a blood, then blood minus RBC, platelets and some plasma proteins is called as the lymph, which is the colorless fluid is present and which also contain carbon dioxide and the metabolic waste. Then from the tissue there is the formation of the lymphatic capillaries get takes place. From lymphatic capillary there is the formation of the lymphatic vessels get takes place, and finally there are the formation of the two important duct get takes place, which are called as the right and left lymphatic duct. The left lymphatic duct is also called as the thoracic duct, which basically drains the lymph from the major area, as from the left upper part of our body and lower to the ribs, all the lower extremities of our body drains the lymph into this left lymphatic duct, that is, it is called as the thoracic duct. Right lymphatic duct drains the lymph from the right side of our body, only related to the upper part. Then finally this lymph get drains into the venous blood, means lymph comes into the blood circulation. Then another important part which is present to the lymph is that the lymph which is collected into the intestinal areas. As we know that after completion of digestion, polysaccharides get converted into monosaccharide, that is, starch is converted into glucose and which get directly absorbed into the blood. Similarly, proteins get digested into the amino acids and get directly absorbed into the blood. But fats or the lipids, when get converted into their simplest form, that is the fatty acid and glycerol, These are directly does not comes into the blood circulation. This first come into the lymphatic circulation. And so the lymph which is present into the intestinal area, because we know that absorption of the digested food material takes place into the terminal ileum. Into the terminal ileum. So at this part there is the presence of the lymphatic capillaries or the lymphatic vessels, which contain comparatively more fatty acid or the glycerol molecule than the lymph which is present in any other part of the body. So the lymph which is present at this region, which is having the whitish appearance, or it is white in color like milk or milky whitish appearance, and that's why the lymph which is present in this intestinal region is called as a lacteal, because of it is compared with the milk because of their color of the lymph, because of the presence of large number of the fatty acid or glycerol molecule. So this is also the most important part related to the lymphatic system. Now, as I have here mentioned that in the lymphatic system, along with the capillaries, vessels, duct, there are the presence of the lymph nodes are also present into the certain areas. Lymph nodes which are basically present in our body part, preferably at to the neck region, in our axillary fold, or generally it is called as the armpit region, and into the lower part it is present into groin region. So into the neck or into the cervical region, then in the chest region, into the axillary fold or into the armpit region, and in the lower extremity, the upper part of the lower extremity, at which there is the presence of the genital organ, at that fold which is called as the groin, there is also the presence of the lymph nodes are present. So these lymph nodes are the small circular or oval shaped structure is present in these areas, which consist of the lymph, and also in these lymph nodes there is the formation of the lymphocyte and antibodies also takes place. So this is also the most important point and the most important structure involved into lymphatic system, as at the site of this lymphatic node there is the formation of the lymphocyte and antibody takes place. So play the important role into the defense mechanism or into the immunity system. Here I give one example. Generally we see into the small children, if there is the injury takes place to the leg, or specifically there is injury takes place to the toe, or the digits related to the lower extremity, or whenever that injury get infected, that injured part get infected, then there is the secretion gets secreted, and because of to the infection means there is the certain growth of the microbes takes place. So that microbes may invade in the body into the upward direction. But sometimes we see that whenever there is this wound is infected in small children or may often into the adults also, there is a swelling get takes place into the groin region. Sometimes we feel there is the swelling is present into the groin region of the small children, because here there is the formation of the lymphocyte and antibody get takes place, which basically try to destroy that pathogen which enter through the wound in our body. So this is the function of the lymph node get takes place. Or another example is also present. Whenever there are the throat infections are present, we commonly suffered once a time in our life through the throat infections. And whenever there are the throat infections are present, the swelling get takes place in these certain areas, in the neck areas. Because in these areas there are the presence of the lymphatic tissue or the lymphatic nodes are present, and particularly we know the best one of the example are the tonsils. Tonsils are also the part of the lymphatic tissue. It is the larger lymphatic tissue present in our pharyngeal region within the throat. And so whenever there are the throat infections are present, we suffer from the pain into the throat region, or when we see in the mirror, we see that there is the size of the tonsil get enlarged, and also redness get takes place into the tonsils, because as the tonsils are the part of this lymphatic system, these are the lymphatic tissues, and if any person suffer from the throat infection, means there is the pathogen is present, and so as lymphocyte or the antibody formation get takes place in that lymphatic tissue, that's why as the large number of the lymphocytes formation takes place, and that's why the size of the lymphatic tissue get enlarged to minimize the infection or to destroy the pathogen which is present into the throat region. So this is the most important function which is related to the lymphatic system. So here we have concluded about to the structures present into the lymphatic system, and then finally we will conclude about to the function of this lymphatic system. So as here mentioned, the first function of the lymphatic system is to formation of the antibody and lymphocyte. Whenever there is the pathogen get increase, or pathogen or the microbes get enter in our body, there is the formation of the antibody and the lymphocyte production get takes place, where there is the lymphatic tissue is present in our body, means perform the role into the immunity and defense mechanism, or it protect of our body. Second function is that, as we seen that basically it is composed from the tissue fluid, that is the interstitial fluid, means the tissue and outside the tissue the fluid which is present, which collectively form the lymph, means there is the in our body basically there is the wastage of any substance is not get exist, because we know that in the lymphatic system, in the lymph, there are the useful substances are also present, and that's why body reutilize these substances in the form of the lymph, as lymph finally drains into the blood circulation. So it in turn do the function of the protection. Then as we have mentioned here that the fatty acid or glycerol get absorbed first into the lymphatic system, and then lymphatic system drains into the blood circulation. So the lacteal which contain large amount of the fatty acid or glycerol is also one of the important part is present, and it also destroy the microbes. So these are the important functions of the lymphatic system, in which lymphatic capillaries, lymphatic vessels, lymphatic duct and lymphatic nodes or the lymph nodes or the lymphatic tissues are involved in this system, which is the parallelly defense mechanism or perform the role into the defense mechanism, and also having another certain functions here we have discussed in detail. So this is about the lymphatic system, which is basically the study of the one of the body fluid is present, which is also important to our body. Then as into this body fluid and circulation, there is a study of the blood is done initially, as it is the first and most important and a large amount of about to 5 liter. That's why large amount of the major body fluid present in the our body. Then we have discussed about the lymph which is present into lymphatic system. And then afterward, now we will discuss about the different types of the vessels which are related to carry the blood. Because as the name of the chapter suggests, body fluids and circulation. So we have discussed about the blood, and for their circulation in our body, there is the role of the vessels is present. As into the human being, there is the closed type of the circulatory system is present. Means the blood flows through the vessels and reach up to each and every part of the body, or reach up to each and every cell of the body. So this blood get carried through the blood vessels. And we know that in our body there are the blood is present in two forms. One form of the blood is the oxygenated form. Oxygenated form means here blood is present and plus there is the O2 is present. Then there is the another type is present which is called as the deoxygenated blood, in which basically there is the blood is present and plus CO2 is present. So this oxygenated and deoxygenated blood is carried through different vessels. Oxygenated blood is carried through artery and deoxygenated blood is carried normally by veins. So now we will discuss here about the structure, major structure, location and function of this artery and veins. So we will see these two vessels, artery and vein, into the differentiated form. So first of all, here there is the artery and vein is present. So first difference is present, as the arteries carry oxygenated blood. It carries oxygenated blood, but here there is the certain exception is present, except pulmonary artery. Except pulmonary artery. Here normally vein carries the deoxygenated blood. Deoxygenated blood. But here also the exception is present except pulmonary vein. This is the main form is present. Then secondly, in the structure of the artery, here I will draw a small figure. If this is the structure of the artery, this is the lumen is present, and here there are the endothelium. Structure of endothelium is present, which is nothing but the squamous epithelium is present, and then this is the outer layer is present. This is outer layer is present. So this is the outer layer of the artery is present. This is outer layer, and this outer layer, which is basically called as the tunica externa. Tunica externa. As it is present outside, it is called as the tunica externa. And then here there is the middle layer is present, which is compared. This is the middle layer, which is the muscular one. This is the muscular layer in which muscle fiber or the muscle cells are present. As we know that the blood vessels are made up of from the smooth muscle, and in the artery, this middle muscular layer, which is the thick, is present. So it is called as the tunica media. And the internal layer, which is basically called as the endothelium, or which is made up from the squamous epithelium. So this is the endothelium is present. This is endothelium is present. This is the structure of the artery is present. Into the cross section, transverse section. Into the transverse section, this is the lumen. This is the lumen of the artery is present. Comparatively, it is narrow than the veins. Then, into the structure of the artery or into the structure of the vein also, there are three layers are present in their wall. The outermost layer is called as the tunica externa. The middle layer, which is the thick muscular layer, called as the tunica media, and the inner layer, which is called as the endothelium, which is called as the tunica intima. So it is called as the tunica intima. This is the tunica intima is present, in which basically there is the presence of inner part of this tunica interna. There is the presence of the endothelium. So this is the structure of the artery or transverse section, or this is the histology of artery. Similarly, into the structure of the vein, now there is the wider lumen is present comparatively to the arteries. So here endothelium is lying, and now here there is the broader lumen is present. Tunica interna is present here, and then there is, this is the tunica media is present. This is tunica media is present, and outside to tunica media, this is the tunica externa is present. So this is tunica externa is present. This is tunica externa, outermost layer, which is I have shown here. Then this is the middle layer, which is not comparatively so thick to the artery, and this is the inner tunica interna is present, and in the tunica interna, internally it is lined by this squamous epithelium, are called as the endothelium. So this is the tunica externa. Then this is the tunica interna, and then this is the tunica media is present. So this is related to the structure, histological structure or the transverse sections of the artery and vein. This is the most important part, because into the next part where there is the study of certain disorders takes place related to this system, circulatory system, in which there are the certain disorders or the certain diseases which are basically takes place because of to the disorders into the structure of the artery or into the structure of the vein also. As there is the age increases, there are the degenerative changes takes place in our body. Means there are the degenerative changes are also takes place into artery and vein also. And because of to this, there are the certain disorders takes place, which we discuss into next part. But here there is the structure is important part. And if the change in structure than normal takes place, then which give rise to the disorder. So here there is the most important part related to the artery, is that in the artery there is the middle layer is the muscular layer and which is the thick wall is present. And but here there is the tunica media present in the vein, but it is not so thick comparatively to the arteries. There is the another difference is present, means according to these points, according to this histology, difference related to the tunica media is present. It is the thick muscular structure is present, but here it is the comparatively thin structure is present. Then about to the lumen also. Lumen of the artery is comparatively narrow and lumen of the vein is comparatively, this is the lumen which is comparatively broad. Then there is the next and the most important part is present related to artery and vein, is that within the artery there are the walls are absent. Walls are absent, but into the veins there are the walls are present. Walls are present. As we know that the blood which is present in the artery is the oxygenated blood is present, and this blood gets circulated to all the part of the body. And so because of this reason, there is the pressure is present within this oxygenated blood which is present in artery. So as the pressure is present, blood flow under pressure through artery, and also there is the narrow lumen is present. That's why the chances of the backflow is minimum, and so walls are absent into the arteries. But here into the veins, walls are present, as veins consist of or carries the deoxygenated blood. And as we have discussed here that their lumen is also broad, and so there are the chances of the backflow of the blood is present into the vein, as the blood is not under pressure comparatively to the artery or the oxygenated blood, and that's why here walls are present. This is also the most important differentiating point related to the artery and vein. Then there is the another important point is present related to the artery and vein, is that inside our body, basically arteries are located at the deep or the deeper part inside our body, but the veins are present superficially. Veins are present superficially in our body part. Arteries are present comparatively in deeper part, but veins are present superficial part. This is also the most important differentiating part is present. In the arteries, Generally, we feel the pulsations because of to the pressure which is present in the blood, which consists of to the artery, and that's why we can measure the pulse rate, we can measure the blood pressure within the artery also. We measure the blood pressure in the brachial artery and we measure the pulse into the radial artery. So these are the certain important points which are related to the artery and veins. Then how there is the circulation gate takes place, this is also the important part. Most of the students does not understand that how from the heart there is the blood circulation gate takes place. So this circulation we discuss here to understand every concept related to the circulation and which will useful into the another systems also, like into the excretory system of our body or like into the digestive system also. So as we have seen, there is a certain differentiating point about to the artery and vein. We have seen their importance and we have seen their function which is related to our body. But whenever, if here I draw the diagrammatic representation, or if this is the structure diagrammatic representation of our heart, if this is the diagrammatic representation, we know that the human heart has 4 chambers. If these upper chambers are called as the atria, these are the atria. This is the left side and this is the right side, and these are called as the ventricles. These are ventricles. So as we know that from the left ventricle there is the aorta gate arises. From the left ventricle aorta gate arises, and as we know that the left compartment of our heart is related to oxygenated blood and the right compartment of our heart is related to deoxygenated blood. So here from the left ventricle, this is the left ventricle, there is the aorta gate arises. Aorta in certain areas of the brain, in certain areas of our body, then bifurcate and develops or gives the different branches which are now called as the artery. If this is the one of the branches present, there are the different branches like this, like this. These are the artery. This is the artery. And if this is the any, like this is the renal artery is present, or here there is the coronary artery, which is the most important because coronary artery gives the oxygenated blood supply to heart itself. Coronary artery, which is the branch of the aorta. Now if this is the artery is present, then artery again get bifurcated into the small branches. This is called as the arteriole. This is called as the arteriole. Look here, I just only here draw the schematic representation of the circulation. Here as I have given the name artery, means here any artery which is related to different organs, visceral organs are also related present. I only given the certain example here, any artery related to any organ is present. So aorta, which arises from the left ventricle of the heart, which give the small branches called as the artery. Artery again get bifurcate in that organs and form this small structure which is called as the arteriole, and this arteriole again get bifurcate into very small and thin branches which is basically called as the capillaries. This is the capillaries is present. And the most important point related to capillary is that in our body, in organs, where there is the blood capillary network is present, means it is related to the exchange. It is related to transport or the exchange. As the capillaries are very small, thin walled, having the wall formed by the single layer of the squamous epithelium, flat squamous epithelium, or which is called as the endothelium. It is also called as the endothelium. And this capillary forms the network around the different organs at which there is the exchange gate takes place. Exchange of the fluids or the exchange of the solute substances are present, inorganic or the organic substances are present which get exchanged here. For example, if I have given here the name as a renal artery, then we know that the renal artery means this is the branch of the aorta which gives the oxygenated blood supply to the kidney. In the kidney, bifurcation of this renal artery gate takes place for form arteriole. And as we know that in the kidney there is the structural and functional unit is present which is called as the nephron, and within the nephron there is the arteriole is present and which form the blood capillary network at two regions in the nephron, and in these two regions there is the exchange or there is the transport gate takes place. So into the respiratory system also, around the alveoli or alveolus, there is the blood capillary network is present which is related to the exchange. Finally, the capillaries get unite. If this is the 1, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, like this. The capillaries get unite to form the structure called as the venules. So now here is the formation of the venules get takes place, and because of to the exchange, now the venules may contains the CO2 or this may contain the metabolic waste also. So these are the venules. Venules again, if this is the 1, this is the 2nd, this is the 3rd, again get unite to form the vein. So this is the structure of the vein is present. And finally, we know that this deoxygenated blood, which is basically contain the CO2, and this blood finally drains into the right atrium of the heart. This finally drains into the right atria. This is the right atrium of the heart through the superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. So here I have drawn the schematic representation of the circulation of the blood, how it takes place inside the body. It starts from the heart and again comes toward the heart. This is the most important pathway which we will discuss to each system also. This is related to every system. Only there is the name of the artery, name of the arteriole or name of the organ get changed. But the pathway is same. Either it is related to kidney or it is related to heart. In the heart also, if we given here the example of the coronary artery, which is the directly branch of the aorta. Coronary artery gives the oxygenated blood supply to the heart or to the cardiac wall. Means again into the heart wall, the coronary arteries bifurcate into arteriole capillaries. And finally, capillaries are related to the tissue level or to the cellular level, where there is the exchange is present. Capillaries which are related to the tissue level or the cell level, means here it is related to cardiac tissue, where there is the exchange get takes place, transport get takes place. Wanted substances or the useful substances for different metabolic reactions are taken up from the blood by that particular tissues, and the metabolic byproducts which are formed are again get transported to the blood by that tissue. So here, because of to the transport or as because of to the capillaries, these are made up of from the thin wall squamous epithelium called as the endothelium, which is become porous, and that's why there is the exchange is possible. And finally, the deoxygenated blood from the heart basically, which is basically drains into the coronary sinus. Coronary sinus. And ultimately, this coronary sinus which drain this deoxygenated blood from the heart wall into the right atrium. Means the path again same. From the left ventricle, aorta gate arises. From the aorta, it bifurcate, give rise to artery. Arteries bifurcate into small branches called as the arteriole. And finally, arteriole bifurcates into very small, thin branches at the site of the tissues and form the capillary network in that organ or around that tissue. From the capillaries, again there is the venule formation get takes place. From the venules, there is the formation of the vein get takes place, and ultimately veins drain the deoxygenated blood into the right atrium through superior and inferior vena cava. Here we have now discussed about to the circulation of the blood. Then, as we have here discussed about to the circulation of the blood, which only I categorize this circulation in different types. For example, inside our body, there is the one concept is present, which is basically called as the double circulation. We have already discussed here, but only it has given the name as the double circulation. As the name suggests, the double circulation means blood flows through heart twice. Double means two or twice. So, blood flows through heart twice. So, it is called as the double circulation, which is categorized, only it has given two names. The circulation of blood which is related to lung, which is called as the pulmonary circulation. This is the pulmonary circulation. And the circulation of blood which is related to body part or organs of our body, which is called as the systemic circulation. So, what happened into pulmonary circulation? The blood from the right ventricle of the heart, listen carefully, here the pathway is like this. Blood from the right ventricle goes to lung through pulmonary artery. Pulmonary artery towards the lung. As we know that right compartment consists of the deoxygenated blood. So deoxygenated blood from the right ventricle of the heart goes towards the lungs for oxygenation, because we know that lungs are related to the respiration and in which there is the gaseous exchange is present. So through pulmonary artery goes towards the lungs for oxygenation. Finally, oxygenated blood comes from the lungs up to the heart. In the heart, it enters into the left atrium of heart through pulmonary vein. So the path of the blood from lung to lung, from the heart it goes towards the lung, and again from the lung it goes towards the heart. This circulation, which is related to the lungs, is called as the pulmonary circulation. Now here into the systemic circulation. As we know that from the left ventricle, aorta get arises, and from the aorta blood is carried. This is the oxygenated blood which get carried up to each and every part or organ of our body except lungs. So left ventricle to all the body part through aorta, and again from all the body part deoxygenated blood comes through superior and inferior vena cava into right atrium. It is called as the systemic blood circulation. In the pulmonary blood circulation, the deoxygenated blood from the right ventricle goes to the lung through pulmonary artery, and again from the lungs oxygenated blood is get received by the left atrium of the heart through pulmonary vein. This pathway of the blood circulation is called as the pulmonary circulation. And here from the left ventricle, as the aorta get arises, which consists of oxygenated blood, this oxygenated blood goes to each and every part of the body except lungs, and from the part of the body the deoxygenated blood is again drained into the right atrium through superior and inferior vena cava. It is called as the systemic circulation. So here these two circulations, pulmonary circulation and systemic circulation, together called as the double circulation. So this is related to the double circulation. There is another term is also related, which is called as the coronary circulation. And in the coronary circulation, means it is related to coronary artery, which is related to heart, means which is related to the heart itself. So the heart or heart wall, that is the cardiac muscle, which receive the oxygenated blood from the coronary artery, which is the branch of the aorta, and as we have discussed here, aorta which basically arises from the left ventricle. So this coronary artery get bifurcate into different branches, capillaries, right, left, and which further again get bifurcate and gives the blood supply to the heart wall. And the deoxygenated blood from heart wall. Deoxygenated blood from heart wall is drained finally into coronary sinus, and this coronary sinus ultimately drains this deoxygenated blood into the right atrium. So this is related to the blood supply related to heart wall itself. So this circulation of blood mediated by coronary artery and coronary sinus, which is basically called as the coronary circulation. So here we have completed about the passage or the pathway of the blood inside the body.